on YouTube. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. We're going to be asking a follow-up question. This is in regards to President Biden's really controversial statement, by the way. But we're going to be following up because we all know, many of you folks that are politically aware, keen to what's going on in our world, that President Biden has stated that if Trump was not running, he's not for sure he would be either. So I'm going to ask a simple question based on Biden suggesting that he might not even be in the race if it wasn't for Trump. Should Democrats reconsider? Is Biden the right choice going forward for 2024? Or has the Democrats made a mistake? This is not coming from anything other than Biden himself stating that if Trump was not running, he's not for sure he would be either. Is President Biden really in the game? Should Democrats really start rethinking having a backup plan? Because the man is saying he wouldn't be running possibly if Trump was not running either. It's a simple question. That's what we're going to be asking today. Now, we do know other news has come about. Former Speaker of the House on the Republican side of the aisle, McCarthy, has announced that as of the end of this year, he's done. So that leaves the Republicans having to replace him for the remainder of 2024 until the election takes place or whatever the case may be. But why are there so many folks in Congress leaving Congress? Over the last few years, there's a hell of a lot of well-known names that have left Congress. So that is a second topic. But in regards to President Biden stating that if Trump was not running, he's not sure he would be either. We're asking that simple question. Should the Democrats reconsider who they are propelling towards the Democratic nominee? I mean, it looks like it's going to be a Trump versus Biden rematch. But if Biden is making it clear that if I wasn't running against Trump, I might not be in it either, that makes it look like he's not really in the game. Was that the right thing to say? As always, the program is forever will remain MAGA friendly. You know what I see on every broadcast. MAGA are my preferred guests. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome as well. Stick the ruler. Appreciate those shades. Thank you very much. So I'm asking that question. Should the Democrats reconsider who they are falling in line behind? Looking in the comments, the only reason that I vote Biden is to ensure 45 doesn't get in. I want to ask this question as well. Now that I've seen that comment, the only reason I'm voting for Biden is to ensure Trump doesn't get in, which is also, according to Biden, the only reason he's running in the damn election. But I want to ask you folks as well, why, for the folks that are supporting Biden, a lot of liberals can tout things that they believe Biden has accomplished, the infrastructure bill, the CHIPS Act, things like that. Why is there no love for President Biden? Why is there virtually no Democratic love for President Biden? Has he really been that bad that even the liberals do not like him? That's what we're asking. And COD Mobile on YouTube, we're running a simulcast on YouTube, says that is the stupidest reason. Voting for a candidate simply because they are not the other candidate is a stupid reason to vote. Listen, I'm a Bears fan. I'm from Chicago. Who do I root for? The Bears and anybody that plays the Packers. Is that a stupid reason to support the Lions or the Minnesota Vikings or someone simply because I don't like the Packers? That's what you're seeing on the comments. Looking at the comments, I don't know anybody. I don't know why anybody does. Wow. Well, there are reasons to like Biden. It's not that blind. But let me go straight to the box. Want to hear from you folks. The one and only Stick the Ruler. Asking that question, should the Democrats reconsider who they're choosing? Biden is the wrong choice in my opinion. We'll talk about that. Stick the Ruler, good afternoon.
Hey, what's going on, handsome?
Not much at all.
So it's okay. So what we need to do is realize that I think Biden's mindset on the things that he has done is just like I've done it. Wait till you feel it. A lot of people ain't feeling it yet, so they feel a certain type of way.
You think there are some Republicans that voted for Biden in 2020?
Absolutely. Do you think Liz Cheney voted for Biden? I mean, for Donald Trump?
Well, in 2020, we know what happened. But Liz Cheney is pissed. Liz Cheney is pissed off with Trump because of how she was treated speaking out on January 6th. But we had already voted at that point. My guess is Liz Cheney voted for Trump.
But the question was, do you think she voted for him?
Yes. Yeah, she voted for Trump in November. Hold on, let me respond to that. In November of 2020, Liz Cheney was still widely adored by the Republican Party. She didn't fall out of favor until she held Trump accountable for January 6th. At that point, everybody had already voted. Liz Cheney was still a Republican hero on November 2020. So yeah, I think she voted for Trump.
I'll ask another person. Do you think John McCain was gonna vote for? Okay.
No, his whole family did no.
I'm just saying one person. If one person to do it, it means it was many other people.
Yeah, you make a good point. Yeah, you make a good point because I don't think the Mitt Romney family, I don't think the Bush family, he had problems with them before. So you make a good point.
Exactly, and then on top of that, right? Okay. Let's just go to the election of Joseph Biden, right? I'll say it again. In 2020, he had people that were never Trumpers. That's why he got like 81 million votes. So it wasn't so much that they liked Joe. It was the point of this guy can't get in. We're not gonna let him in. We don't like him, but we don't too much. It's the same rhetoric of today. We don't like Joe too much, but guess what? He ain't getting in, and that's just where they're stuck at.
I'll go ahead and state I concede the point. You are right. There are probably a lot of Republicans now that you've stated that they voted for President Biden. But I do have to ask, why right now? Because I got a comment on YouTube. Somebody said that's a stupid reason to vote. How do you feel with somebody? Listen, if you don't like Biden, voting for him anyway, simply because you hate Trump more, is a stupid reason. How do you respond to that?
I'll tell you what's a stupid reason. A stupid reason is not voting and allowing a man like Donald Trump to get in, and that's what happened with Hillary Clinton. A lot of people, instead of saying, you know what, I'm going to just vote for Hillary just to make sure this madman don't get in, they didn't do that. They didn't have, I'm not a forever not a Trumper. They didn't have that really back then. You had people didn't know which one was, because again, you're going to hear it all over the place. You vote for the lesser of two evils, right? So at this case, you got black folks not going out, not voting because of things that they heard Hillary Clinton say. Yeah. And on top of that, they liked it, they liked it, Bill Clinton over her anyway. And they didn't like the way maybe that she was trying to say little things on the trail against her own husband, which it was to appease the women.
Yeah.
Like,
but let me drag you.
Men or whatever.
Yeah, but let me drag you back on topic before I move on. I just want to ask you this. So you do believe when it comes to continuing to support Biden, because I'm asking that question, should the Dems reconsider a different candidate? You view it like Ray Charles. When it comes to Biden, we got the right one, baby. Do you see the Democrats as making the right decision sticking behind Biden?
If they're not going to put any other person up, which I don't think they should. I think they should give him the same respect that we gave Barack Obama when he was handed a piece of shit economy and country at the time. He got his 4 years, and it trickled over to 6 more years or 2 more years after he was out of the office. His economy kept going. And again, I say it all the time. I'll give Donald Trump credit for not messing with something that didn't need to be messed with, which was the economy when he first took office. He didn't do anything to it. I'll give him that. But I'll also say, for the people who come out and say, what has Biden done for me, I would ask the question in reverse. No, what has Donald Trump done for me? You want me to vote or you want to curve my vote to lean your way. Tell me what he's done for me. And I'll say it again, and I'll say it again. I don't want to hear about the HBCUs because unfortunately,
all right, I gotta move it on. But I'll immediately bring up the economy, the gas prices, the job numbers, even affecting the African American community. Trump did do things for us as well. There are legitimate reasons to vote for either one of these folks. But I gotta move it on, Stick. Appreciate you coming in.
I appreciate you. Oh, hey, one last thing.
Sure.
I want to clear up, Handsome. The thing I want to clear up is your question all the time is, what does MAGA mean to you? All right. What it means to a Black American veteran, it means the South shall rise again.
Whoa.
And I'll end right there. Yep.
Damn.
That's what it means.
Damn.
It used to be make Americans get attorneys, make attorneys get attorneys, but it's not that anymore. It's the South shall rise again. That's what it means to us.
That's frightening.
Just being honest.
Appreciate your service. Appreciate you coming on. Thank you. All right, looking in the comments, calling it like it is, says another disaster TTV. Wow. The South shall rise again. And by the way, that's a common phrase. There are people who do state the South will rise again. Love to hear from you folks that would like to elaborate. What does that even mean? When somebody say the South will rise again, what does that mean? What the hell Trump done for Black people, says Wilbert Brinkley. Well, when we talk about the economics of the Trump administration, Black people benefited from that as well. So there are some things that are there. African Americans benefited from the Trump economy as well. I understand a hell of a lot of liberals will point to where he rode out the coattails of Obama, and that was Obama's economy. Okay, we can make that point. However, he didn't ruin it. If someone hands you a good economy and it stays good throughout your tenure, you're telling me you don't get any credit for that at all, for maintaining a good economy? The only credit you can get is bad if you ruin it? That's not fair judgment. When you judge what the economy was like during the Trump administration, it was a good economy until the pandemic hit. He deserves credit for that, being fair. Moving on, if you want $5 loaf of bread, vote Biden. Cheeky chops. I don't really buy into Armageddon politics. I remember back in the day, Newt Gingrich, former, majority leader, Senate, whatever the hell he was. I remember Newt Gingrich stating that if you voted for Obama, you was going to get $5 gas and things like that. Just like right now, folks are saying if you vote for Trump, you're voting against democracy. Every time you vote for someone, somebody else suggested it's going to be the end of the world. I don't believe you're going to get $5 bread, as you stated, if Biden is reelected. I just don't. How about $500 billion dedicated to HBCUs under President Trump, says OG Stoner? I don't believe that is accurate. $500 billion went to HBCUs. I don't believe that means how many HBCUs are there? $500 billion. Seriously? That would mean each HBCU received a few $billion. 500? I don't believe that's accurate. Billion with a B, not with an M. Billion with a B. 500 billion? Looking in the comments, Texas is on ballot to leave the USA. That's not going to happen. Going to the box, and that wouldn't be good for Texas either. If Texas was to leave the United States, that would not be good for Texas. Moving on with the program, we'll go straight to CMB. Corrado asking that question, should the Democrats reconsider who they're propelling to the top of the ticket, with President Biden stating if Trump wasn't running, he don't know if he would be either. CMB, good afternoon.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing good.
You know, I always like to read between the lines, and let me just say a couple things. If you have a commander-in-chief that's telling you that he's not going to run unless this other guy's running against him, to me, I translate that as he in office for all the wrong reasons. Because he's, and what I mean by that is that, that should be the last thing on his mind. He should be concerned with everything that's fucking going on around everything. But let me stop there before we get
I
distracted
want to
on that.
respond to that, but I'll let you continue. I do want to respond to him being in it for all the wrong reasons, but continue.
And you know, just like everybody's talking about Obama, and the economy was good with Obama, and he passed it on to Trump. Okay, well, how come when Trump left office, the economy went 100% to shit?
Well, when Trump left,
Why couldn't Biden done what Trump did if he followed Obama?
well, keep in mind, when Trump took office, or when Biden took office, everything was closed. We were in the middle of a pandemic. Nobody was working. Biden took office under some very unusual circumstances. Nobody was driving because we didn't have to go to work. Everything was closed, so the price of fuel was way down. As Biden got more and more people back on the road and everything opened up, the demand for fuel changed. Everything on the world stage was different. So what Biden inherited from Trump is totally different than what any other president inherited in history, because he literally inherited a pandemic.
Yeah, but I didn't see him trying to. I saw him focus more on changing everything that Trump did instead of focusing on how can we make this disaster go away, economy wise and everything. And I just, and the simple fact is, this big border problem we have, and all these people, they're mainly the Democrats. They're like, yeah, you Republicans, y'all are racist. You don't want foreigners coming to this country. That's not the point. The point is that really what Biden's doing is inhumane. He let all those people come from their country into our country, okay? And then when they shipped them in buses all over the United States, and the only place that they could ship them to where they could actually live through the winter would be Florida.
Yeah, but wait a minute. When you say what Biden is doing with immigrants is inhumane, do you think what Trump was doing with them was humane?
Well, Trump was telling them to stay in their country.
That ain't what I'm asking you. Once they violated Trump's instructions to stay in their country, do you think he treated them in a humane manner?
By taking them back to their country?
No, by separating the child from a mother when the child is still nursing. Some people never got their kids back at all.
Oh, I very hard to believe that. The people that did not get their kids back is because the DNA did not match them as parents. Because right now, we have thousands and thousands of kids that have disappeared off of the immigration list. But my biggest problem is humanity. Okay, I'm gonna forget politics for a minute. How are you gonna take someone from another country that's in a tropical type place where they don't get snow and they don't get freezing weather, and you let them into your house or your country, whatever you want to call it, and then when they get to where they're going, you give them a tent and you tell them to go pitch it in the park in New York. How are those people going to survive the winter?
That's a really good question. Wait a minute. That's a really good question. And that the answer to that question, as opposed to going to folks that are giving them tents, should start with the likes of Ron DeSantis and Governor Greg Abbott of Texas, because they are the ones that sent them to these winter zones without even a tent that you're talking about. How do you feel? Wait a minute. How do you feel about the fact that you're mentioning sending people to or having people in winter areas? How do you feel about the Republican governors that sent these folks to these really cold climates and didn't even tell them where they were going? How do you feel about that? Is that humane?
Are you talking about when they sent them up to Martha's Vineyard and stuff like that?
Martha's Vineyard, Chicago, all of these cold climates you're talking about.
Okay, well. First of all, people need to wake up and realize that the governors of those two states, when they sent those people where they sent them, there was already people being sent to those cities.
Okay,
The
what
only
does that matter?
Hang on, hold up.
What does that matter,
I'll
though?
let you go. Well, I'll tell you why it matters, because they were going to those cities, but we had the Speaker of the White House telling the news on every news channel that the border is closed, people are not coming in, everything's secure, and half of America believes what they see on television. So what happened? The governors of those two states said, listen, you know what? The only way we're going to wake up these people that don't know what's really going on, we're going to send these people to where they can get some news coverage. And the only place you're going to get some news coverage is places like where the rich are, and don't want migrants walking around.
But think about what you started out by saying. You started out by talking about it was inhumane to have people in cold climates with not enough gear. Now all of a sudden you flipped it to where the Republican governors that did that are okay because they were being shipped up there already anyway.
No, they shipped individual planes. It's because you asked me about the governors, why they did that. But let's remember that the governors only sent one plane here, a couple buses down to Massachusetts Avenue in Washington D.C. That doesn't compare to the 200. No, wait a minute. Think about it. We comparing one flight to Martha's Vineyard, 2 buses to Kamala's house on Massachusetts Avenue, and another bus or somewhere to Delaware, compared to hundreds of buses that are continuously bringing people in. As we speak right now, there's probably like 20 buses on the road, I'm sure, at least, on the way to drop people off.
So your take is that Governor Abbott and Ron DeSantis only sent 1 or 2 buses of people up north?
The reason why they sent those people up there is to bring awareness to the lies that we were being told on television, that the border, there was no more people coming in.
Okay, let me make it clear.
People coming in.
I get all of that.
Coming in, then
I get all of that.
There was no more, right? Because if there was no more people coming in, there wouldn't be anybody to bus up there.
Okay. Oh, and by the way, folks. Okay, CMB, hang on. Let me. Okay, first of all, folks, tap the screen. This is a passionate debate. I don't, listen, I'm not going to censor or limit the man. We have a disagreement, but he damn sure has the right to speak. Tap the screen. Get your boy up to 20,000 likes. I do appreciate that for you folks on TikTok and you folks on YouTube. But in regards to what you're saying, I'm just bringing this up because you talked about having people in the cold is inhumane. When I pointed out folks on the right, your response dropped to where they didn't send that many people. But if you're sending somebody somewhere where they cannot likely survive in the cold, one person is inhumane. You may not be Hitler, but if you take the life of one person, you're still killing people. So
you're absolutely right. You're 100% right. But you have to also remember that when they sent them up there, it wasn't wintertime.
But they knew winter was coming, and they didn't send them with any gear.
It's okay. It's been like four months since they sent them up there. In 4 months, and all the governors and anybody that has any common sense knew that those people were not going to be staying at Martha's Vineyard. It's obvious that they were sent up there. They were sent up there to create a commotion, to create a news, to create the people, to allow people to let them know that, listen, that chick on television that's speaking for the president, she fucking lying, just like the president lies to us. She lying.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this final question. I do got to move it on, but I want to get your take on this. When they sent those migrants up to the north, you said they sent them, several months before winter, and that is true. But when they sent those migrants up north, do you think they were concerned if they were going to have gear and things for the wintertime, or if they checked with liberals to make sure the liberals were going to look out for them? Do you think they were actually concerned with their welfare when they sent them up north, or were they just trying to make a point and didn't give a damn about the welfare of these people?
Well, it's a 2-step process. First of all, they sent them up there for the main reason they sent them up there is to do exactly what happened. Get news coverage and allow the American people to realize, hey, listen, the gate is not closed. It's open. People still coming.
What about the welfare question? What about the welfare question?
Now, their welfare and well-being, could they have helped them out a little bit more? Yes, I mean, I guess they could have probably put some money in their pockets once they were on the plane. I mean, that's what I would do, but not everybody thinks like I do.
So
At the same time, right now, the situation we have women from Venezuela in your town, Chicago, that are prostituting themselves because they haven't been made.
It's a mess. It's a mess. I'm not trying to defend the liberals on this. I just only ask you all these questions.
I'm not trying to blame anybody. I'm just trying to point out humanity, and a lot of people forget about humanity. They're so stuck on Republican and Democratic things that they're not really even thinking about the people.
All right, and I do appreciate that. CMB, it's always a spirited debate anytime we talk. Come on back anytime, man. I do appreciate it.
Hey, listen, lots of love, and I'll put your likes to over 50.
Oh, shit. Thank you. Thank you. Absolutely.
All right, peace, brother.
Absolute. All right, look it in the comments, and I do appreciate that. Like I always say, folks, it's not about whether we agree or disagree. I always make the pursuit of civilized dialogue, both sides of the aisle, and that's all we do here. If you enjoy civilized dialogue, both sides of the aisle, without any concern of the host banning, blocking, or limiting your time, I encourage you to follow the program. We're here Monday through Friday. You folks on YouTube, feel free to hit the subscribe button, smash that like. The whole conversation we had back and forth was mainly because he stated that what the liberals were doing was inhumane. But by the end of the conversation, I think he was pretty much admitting that there are some Republicans that have done some inhumane shit as well. And keep in mind, there's not many Republicans that look at what Governor Abbott and Governor DeSantis did and have a problem with it. They believe that the liberals should be shown what the hell they're dealing with in Texas, what they're dealing with in Florida, and make that point. Even if it's done to a inhumane level to the victims that they're using to make the point. So the exact point I'm trying to make is both sides are inhumane to these people. Both sides are. And while we were having that conversation, there were so many comments floating in saying, look, they entered the country illegally. They deserve this. So nobody gives a damn about inhumanity once they enter the country illegally. People are fine even if they lose their lives, lose their children. Nobody gives a damn about humanity for these people, particularly on the right, because that's where those comments were coming from. Going back to the comment section, sent people without money. Yeah, they sent them without money, sent them without clothes, did not even tell them when they took them up north where they were even going. In fact, and I'll go right back to the box, one of the bus drivers that was hired by Governor Abbott in Texas did an expose with a news newscaster, and he stated that he was actually told, once you pick these folks up, Laredo, Brownsville, some of these border towns, do not make any stops in Texas. Even if they have to use the restroom, you cannot stop the bus. He stated that on his bus, the restrooms quickly were overfilled with feces and piss was running all down the aisles. And when they finally arrived in New York, they received a call from Abbott's people. They had found out Vice President Kamala Harris was around, where her location was, and they diverted that bus to the front of her house, but she wasn't going to be around for like 10 hours. So he stated they had to keep those immigrants on that bus for 10 continuous hours. He stated he used his own money to get off and buy those folks pizza. And then he had to take them to Kamala Harris's house. All of this was done to make a point. All of this was done to put those folks off in front of her house. And he stated when he arrived to that location, Fox News crews and all of that were there. And he asked that question, how did Fox know what we were doing to meet us there? They had crews and everything on site. They did all of that to make a point. Had those folks sitting on the bus, pissing and shitting on each other, no food. and then dropped them off. Just wanted to point that out for folks who talk about the lack of humanity. Many folks on the right, they came here illegally. They deserve to starve. They deserve to not have restroom facilities. That is inhumanity incarnate. Going back to the box, and you can look that up. The guy who drove the bus actually did that expose and told what he had to go through. And he said he feels horrible that they hired him as a bus driver to do that to those people. Going back to the box, Hushlan, I cannot pronounce the last name. We're going back and asking that question. Danny said he lied. He just made all of that up. Put his job, his career risk in him, and just made all that up. Hushlan, good afternoon. Hushlan, are you there? Okay, apparently our last caller is either not around or something. We'll keep it moving. If Mexico would fix their government and boost their economy, they wouldn't be so desperate. They're not coming from Mexico, Scoop, Laughter. They're coming from Venezuela. They're coming from other countries south of Mexico. However, your point is well taken that Mexico should not be allowing these folks to use their country as a thoroughfare. But they're not, most of them are not Mexican nationals that are coming into the United States nowadays. They're coming from Honduras, Guatemala, Venezuela, Peru, places like that. They're coming up through Mexico, but they're not Mexican nationals. Also, Chinese are coming through, and that's scary. That is scary. Why the hell would you go from China down to Central America or Mexico, then come up? That is questionable. And by the way, how the hell does an Asian person navigate through Mexico without getting stopped? So Mexico should be addressed. Fix your security in your country. How the hell are people just walking through your shit like that? Asian dudes are walking through your country and you don't see this? Going back to the box, there's not a lot of Asians living in Mexico. We'll keep it moving with Scotty Brill. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Appreciate you folks tapping the screen. Get your boy up to 40,000. Scotty, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, handsome.
Hey.
I like your show.
Appreciate that. Thank you. I'm glad you're on. So we talking about Joe Biden coming out and stating that if Trump was not running, he's not for certain he would be either. I want to ask that question. Are the liberals backing their own candidate that's stating that he might not even be in it if his opposition was there?
Well, I think what's going to happen is Biden's going to step down and they're going to install Newsom.
After that debate with Ron DeSantis, I don't know if Newsom is up to the job right now. Maybe in the future, but that debate with Ron DeSantis didn't go well for him. You think they're going to let Newsom go to the top?
We all know Newsom keeps saying he's not running and all that, but they're going to find a reason to say, nah, Biden's not good enough,
What about Kamala? What about letting the vice president? What about letting Kamala do it?
I think they're going to just step right over her head.
Damn.
Go right to Newsom.
Why would they do that?
That's a good question. I don't have an answer for that one.
Yeah.
What I did want to bring up is if you let me.
Sure.
Let's talk about Poland.
Poland? You got to make this quick. That is way off topic. I'll give you a few seconds.
Okay. This is way off topic. Okay, Poland has secure borders. They don't let people come into their country, and they've never had a terrorist attack.
Okay. All right.
So I'm wrapping that into America. A nation without borders is not a nation. And you hear this as a Republican talking point. I'm a MAGA guy. We have to secure the border. 167 known countries. That's just the ones we know about. Have crossed the border.
Okay,
known terrorist watch list.
Yeah, I don't.
They just caught a guy from El Salvador that was attempted, unaliver guy.
that
Let me respond to that.
deported and now he's back here again.
I'll say this in response to your claim that Poland, and you could be right, I'm not disagreeing with you, but in response to your statement that Poland has secure borders and they've never had a terrorist attack, that's not the problem with the United States, because a lot of our terrorist attacks have not come from illegal immigrants. What happened on September 11th, those were not illegal immigrants. Our problem with terrorism is because we don't mind our damn business. You don't see Poland in the Middle East all the damn time. So when you're constantly interfering with how other people operate, they're going to find ways to come back and kick your ass. So we can secure our borders all we want. At the end of the day, when you're constantly going into other people's countries and dictating how they can live, because we always talk about our veterans protect our freedom, when in reality, they're kind of going and taking away the freedoms of other people. These folks would not be messing with the United States as much if we weren't messing with them so much. So Poland is a different example. They're not in everybody's business. Right now, look what's happening. We got a hell of a lot of U.S. ships fighting off drones that are being sent after them. But these ships are not parked off the coast of Seattle or Alexandria, Virginia. They're in the Middle East. How many ships does Poland have floating around in the Mediterranean or the Red Sea? So I don't know if Poland is a real good example, but what say you?
No, I agree with you. We've stirred it up and we've caused problems for ourselves. You know, there's definitely real hate for Americans.
Yeah.
You know, I like what Rand Paul said a long time ago when he was running for president. We got to stop policing the world.
Right.
Why is it America's job to police the world? We don't need to be the police of the world.
I concur. So at the end of the day, do you think Trump, if we put Trump back in office, he would back off of the policy of policing the world?
Well, the thing Trump did is, and this is a Republican talking point, you could say, but I believe it's true. Peace through strength.
That's not backing off. Peace through strength. Here's to me, the perfect example of peace, kind of what North Korea is doing. They got nukes, ain't nobody messing with them. But at the same time, they're not really doing a hell of a lot of messing with other people. They're testing out some missiles and firing them over Japan. But for the most part, North Korea is not in other people's business. But we know they got nukes, so they have the strength, and that way they're having peace from other nations. I'm by no way defending North Korea, but I do believe what they're doing is the perfect example of peace through strength. Keep all your weapons so folks know if they attack you, they're going to be at odds. But you don't need to be going to other nations promoting your strength on their land, on their soil. And that's what the U.S. is doing.
We don't know what Trump was saying to other leaders of other countries behind closed doors. But the threat was definitely real because nobody was messing with us.
Yeah.
I mean, you could argue there was no wars under Trump, but there was some skirmishes and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, we're getting attacked. We're getting attacked by Syrians and stuff right now. It's not good.
Yeah.
It just seems like it's a big firecracker ready to go off right now. It's very volatile.
Do you think that perhaps some of these world leaders saw Biden as a weaker leader than Trump and thought now was the time to act? Like, say, Vladimir Putin. He didn't attack the Ukraine under Trump, but he did under Biden. Do you think it's possibly because he thought Biden was a weaker leader or something?
I think Trump was believable and at least portrayed strength. I mean, he said, he was gonna, I can't use the word, but BOMB the shit out of him.
Yeah.
When he says that, that's like a serious statement as a president of the United States, and so no one messed with us.
All right.
Reagan used to say that, peace through strength. I mean, he was probably the first one to come up with that.
Yeah, I can see some validity to that, but at the same time, when you're constantly threatening people, you also can make people hate you and start forming alliances to get your ass. I don't know. I'm not disagreeing with you. Peace through strength has its valid points, but at the same time, like I said, when you're constantly threatening people, you can create issues like an arms race, for instance. People are tired of getting threatened. That's why so many rogue nations are trying to get their hands on atomic weapons. They're tired of being threatened by the U.S. So it works both ways. I'll give you the last word. I do got to move it on, though.
Well, I'm going to speak on Colorado because I live in Colorado.
Okay.
They've bused 7,400 immigrants to Denver, Colorado.
7,400.
7,400 people have been bused to Denver, Colorado.
Wow.
That's a statistic.
Wow.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And they put them up for a while, but now they're all on the streets. There's a whole neighborhood where it's just Venezuelans sleeping in tents, and it's snowing here. It's getting cold.
Yeah.
You know?
What would Trump do? Now that Biden, I don't disagree with you. Biden has made a mess out of this. I mean, this is currently a mess. But what do you think Trump would do to clean this up? You got these folks everywhere. They don't want to go back to Venezuela or Guatemala, no matter how much snow you guys are getting in Denver. What would Trump do?
I think they almost used it like a deterrent. I really do. I was thinking about that the other day. I go, why are they sending people like the gentleman that was speaking before was talking about? They come from warm climates, a lot of them, near the equator. Okay. Where it's warm. So, but it's not going to deter them. They're hungry.
You had plenty of slaves, black slaves brought to America that would have loved to escape to Canada where there was freedom. I don't give a damn about the cold if the guy you got me with is trying to enslave or kill me. So some of these folks are coming from areas where they believe the cartel is trying to murder them. Yeah. They can handle a winter.
Well, look at Chicago. They built those shelters, and now they're saying there's mercury in the soil. But and they can't even put the people in those shelters. They've spent a bunch of money, building that, clearing the land and building all that, and it's like
I can't.
The problem I have with that is, they're doing that for illegals, like they're getting special treatment.
Yeah, I cannot defend.
Chicago.
Yeah, I cannot defend the liberal position on this. I can't defend the liberal position on what has happened at the border. It is a mess. I don't know how the Republicans are going to clean it up, but I'm not here to pretend like what has happened under Biden with immigrants has been anything other than dismal. But I got to move it on, Scotty. Appreciate you coming in.
I appreciate you, too. The last year of actual immigration reform was 1996.
Wow. All right.
So, but neither side has done anything since 1996.
That's saying a lot. Appreciate you coming in, man. All right, moving on.
God bless you.
You too. All right, looking in the comments, 1996, what is that, almost 30 years ago? Yikes. Looking in the comments here, if you bring them in, then try to send them back, they will hate you, says Conservative Hunter. That is true, and that's what I ask. Now, Trump has promised if he is reelected, he is going to give us the largest deportation in U.S. history. Now, as my last caller, in fact, my last two callers have stated, these folks have been sent all over the nation. What is Trump going to do? Have the feds going into all these major cities and rounding people up? Kind of reminds me of the slave trade where the guys are on horseback throwing lassos over people's necks and shit. Do you realize the mess? I understand what happened under the Biden administration at the border is quote unquote fucked up. But the solution may look even worse than the problem. You literally are going to have the feds going around, families hiding in alleys, hiding on roofs, hiding in churches, and they're just rounding them up like the Gestapo in 1930s Germany. Now, in the comments, Neil November says it's the law. Yeah, the law can be fucked up at times. Just be clear. The law in American history, we've had some crappy ass laws. There was a time in American history where I could have been one of them folks being rounded up. Yeah, it's the law, but the law don't always look good. So you're going to have literally thousands of people instantly turning into almost like felons at the very same time. And you got a hell of a lot of G-men in yellow with FBI or ICE or whatever three-letter name is on the back of their jackets, rounding these folks up all over the damn place. Do you realize how that looks on TV? For you folks that may be old enough to remember Elian Gonzalez with the lone rifle being pointed at his head or whatever. Some of you guys got to be pretty damn old to remember Elian Gonzalez. But it looked horrible. It was a Cuban that came to this country with his parents, and I believe the parents perished on the journey, but the child was here, and the dad in Cuba wanted the child back, and the family here was trying to keep it. And they went into the family's home, guns drawn, and there's a photo of a guy grabbing a kid with a long. It looked horrible, and that's just for one kid. If Trump has the largest deportation in U.S. history, there are going to be raids all over America. Now, the liberals, all this sanctuary city stuff, yeah, now that their cities are being overran, they're not acting like they're so sanctuary-like. But when you kick in a deportation where you're rounding people up, liberals are not going to cooperate with that. You're going to have liberals hiding people out in basements and in homes and churches. They don't want that to happen to these people. So now you got a mess on your hands. I don't see how the solution that Trump is offering is not going to look worse than the problem. Because as my last two callers just made it clear, there are literally thousands of these people all over America. And the only way for Trump to do what he's talking about doing is to use the feds. The very group he says you can't trust. How does that work? Going to the box and in the comments, real quick before I go to the box, Lil Bitmo says, I don't agree. Are you saying you don't agree with the mass deportation, or you don't agree with what I'm saying? I don't see how you can do a mass deportation without G-men running all over the country, rounding people up and throwing them in paddy wagons. I don't see how else you can do it. Continuing on, we'll go to, that says Army vet, or who did I just click on there? It's all bad. Yeah, it's going to be real bad. Pinche. Okay, Pinche Vato Loco. Good afternoon. Okay. Can you hear me?
I got you covered on that one. Yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
Hey, looking good, my brother. Looking good.
Thank you. I make the effort. So, what do you think? Biden is being obviously backed by the Democrats for president in 2024, getting reelected. Yet Biden is stating if Trump wasn't in the game, he don't know if he would be either. Are the liberals making the right choice sticking with Biden?
Well, before I answer that question, I want to tell for the comments, do me a favor, comments or chat, put a 1 in the comments if you had to, if the news told you one night that the military had intelligence saying that there was going to be a B word, a huge B word happening in New York City, would you heed their warning? Give me a 1 in the chat.
What the hell is a B word? A bombing? What is a B word?
Yeah, well, you're not supposed to say that word, I thought, so I was being respectful, right? Yeah, bombing. So if you were here from the military that there was a bombing, give me a 1 in the chat if you would heed their warning, all right?
All right. Well, why are we waiting for that to happen? Answer the question. You trying to run my damn live? Are you trying to run my live?
I'm gonna answer your question at the end of it. Watch.
All right.
How about you? Would you heed their warning?
Yeah.
Okay. Now tell me how you feel when I tell you that even though you were told that Q was all this bogus nonsense, it's actually military intelligence. Now, do you think about how you think about Q?
You talking about QAnon? You talking about QAnon?
Because what you're seeing is exactly what was said and planned out and all this other nonsense. And what you're seeing is a last resort attempt by the outgoing to prevent themselves from having to go out. And it's all about money. Okay.
Wait. Wait. Let me get some clarity. You said an attempt by the outgoing. Is that the Biden administration?
It's Reserve, actually.
Oh,
But what comes with that? Yes, the Biden administration. And you keep on talking about Kamala Harris. She got no oath of office. You got to understand this. She's an illegal representative. She has no oath of office. Search it. Look it up. Now,
why? Wait a minute. What makes what was Biden? Was Biden? I mean, not Biden. Was Mike Pence the same way? Did he have no oath of office?
Mike Pence is one of the deep staters. You got to understand, they're on both sides. I told you this last time. It doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican. They're on both sides because they're all Zionist Jews, and they're all dual citizenship with Israel.
You're telling wait, let me get clarity. You're telling me Kamala Harris is a Zionist Jew.
Yes.
And so is Mike Pence. Mike Pence is a Zionist Jew.
What you're watching is, like I told you last time I was on the show with you, you're watching the greatest show on earth. And you're watching the distraction that obviously is working great. But
Okay.
you're not getting it.
No, I'm not getting it at all, because why aren't the Jews claiming Kamala Harris and Mike Pence to be one of them?
Because it's part of their whole deal. There's only 13 of our representatives that are not dual citizenship with Israel. 13 out of the 600 or whatever it is. I swear to gosh, there's 13. And it's hard to believe. I get it. But if you would understand that QAnon has always been military intelligence, and if you look into it, you'll see why. But you were told by the people who own the news and the people who own all the narrative that you're following every day, you were told that was some bogus bullshit.
Wait, Pinche, I have wait a
Close.
minute. I have never heard of even a single Republican politician that has stated that QAnon is legitimate. Even the Republicans say that's bullshit.
Whichever Republicans you were hearing say that, they were deep staters. They're deep staters. Every one of them.
Okay.
Damn, I told you before, they're all related. The girl, there was a 14-year-old girl or something like that, did a school project and actually successfully demonstrated and proved that they are all related. You have to understand that. They're all related. It's the biggest corruption in history. And it's what they've banked on since the very beginning. Look at the colonizers. What did they do to get in here? What did they do? They tricked the Indians into believing in them, and then they went and they...
Was George Washington a Zionist Jew as well?
Was he a Mason?
Okay, was he a Zionist? What about Barack Obama? Was he a Zionist Jew?
Barack Obama, I got a lot more I can say about him than just a Zionist Jew, but yes, he's a Zionist Jew.
Okay. All right, Pinche, I do gotta move it on. You are way out there. You are way out there.
To answer your question, the Democrats are having a rude awakening that you're not even able to see because the news isn't going to show it to you. But it's not just Biden. It's the Democrats as a whole. You have to understand.
What about, wait, real quick. What about Trump? Is he a Zionist Jew?
What was that?
Trump. Is he a Zionist Jew?
Yes.
Wow. All right, I gotta go. Wow. All right, I don't normally... There's a lot of Zionist Jews running our country. Wow. All right, let me move it on. You guys know what I say all the time. By the way, tap the screen. Some of you Zionist Jews out there, get your boy up to 50,000 likes. Nothing but love for the Jewish people. I'm feeling real kosher right now, but I'm learning a hell of a lot of things I have never heard of in my 50+ years of life. Crystal is always showing your boy some love. Thank you for that fruit. Appreciate that. I'm a good man. I always love a nice banana. Thank you. Looking in the comments, somebody delete that man's voter registration. Yikes. Real quick in the comments, Zionist Jew 2024. Hell, you got nothing to lose when everybody running is a Zionist Jew. Look, why do folks treat the Jewish people so bad? I don't get it. I don't even want to say the way that looks because it definitely could put you in the banning category. Divik, Shout out to you, Divic. Thank you for your generosity. I do appreciate that. Also appreciate you folks tapping the screen. But Divic, thank you. Tap the screen as always. The program is and shall forever remain MAGA friendly. If you haven't heard, now you know. Program is and always will remain MAGA friendly. MAGA are my preferred guests. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome as well. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. So understand, as you may have witnessed, when folks are in the box or in the comments section, the simple fact that you may disagree with the host doesn't mean a damn thing. In fact, I enjoy folks that have a different opinion. That makes for a more spirited conversation. So feel free to bring your A game. We're always ready here. You a lib or a MAGA guy, says Costco. I tend to lean left. I do tend to lean more left on several issues. However, I don't believe everything left is perfect. I don't believe everything about Trump is awful. So you can find me in the middle on a hell of a lot of issues, but I appreciate the input. I'm sorry I can't, says Michael Robertson. Sounds like my ex. Benny tying in the tailpipe. I don't know what that quite means. Look up how many members of our Congress have dual citizenship with Israel. It's shocking. I would submit to you, Mima Deb, many members of our administration, of our government, probably have dual citizenship with a lot of countries. My guess is it's not just Israel. They probably have dual citizenship with other countries too. It's just something about the Jewish folks that people like to point out. But I'm going to guarantee you that dual citizenship does not just involve Israel among our folks in Washington. And I do appreciate you folks giving me up to 50K. He's afraid Trump is going to get him out of her, but there are many Jews in powerful positions here. Yeah, that is true. There are many folks from a lot of different backgrounds in America that are in powerful positions. I'm assuming we got some Russians. I'm assuming we got some Germans. I'm assuming we got folks from a lot of different parts of the world that are in America that have powerful positions in this country, whether they're a CEO, whether they're a Russian oligarch, whether they're a Jewish banker, you name it. That's not something unique to Jewish people. Going back to the box, we'll keep it going with Army vet. Appreciate you holding. Saw you in the comments. We're asking that question. Should the liberals reconsider with Biden after he stated he might not run if Trump wasn't in it? Army vet, talk to me. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yeah, so it makes perfectly good sense why he said that. Is because he knew he could beat Trump. He did beat Trump. He would not have ran again if Trump wasn't running again. And so since Trump is running again, and he feels like he beat him once, he can do it again, that's why he's running.
But is he in it because is he in it because he really feels it, really wants to give America the Biden agenda that he believes is best for this country? Or is he just running to play spoiler?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it is spoiler, but listen, here's the thing when it comes to Biden, in my opinion. Everybody want to talk about his age, right? Trump's 3 years behind him.
True.
They want to talk about cognitive skills. I think they both have displayed at times poor cognitive skills.
True.
However, if we look at on balance, without people with all their hyperbole, the economy is booming, bro. The only thing that's not good in the economy is corporate greed. Corporate greed is what has groceries up. Corporate greed is what had gas up. They blame Biden for high gas. Now gas is low, but all of a sudden then it ain't Biden, right? So the economy's booming. Black unemployment is almost at historical lows. Black unemployment under Biden actually dipped lower than it did when it was under Trump. But nobody wants to talk about that, right?
I would submit to you. I would submit to you another background accomplishment that has happened under the Biden administration is that salaries are up too, and they're not talking about that either.
Absolutely. So what? When we really dig down and we say, okay, let's talk economics, not talking points. Let's talk economics. If people are making more money, that means they have more disposable income. If I am a corporation that provides goods and services and I know people have more money, what am I going to do with the cost of my services or my product? I'm going to raise the price.
Yeah.
That's what corporations do.
I'll follow that up. I'll follow that because I'm soon going to be taking a cruise to, the Caribbean. And I'll tell you what you said makes a lot of sense because down in the Caribbean, they sell stuff. They got citizens in those little islands in those countries, and they sell things to them. But when an American sells down there and goes shopping, as you just rightfully stated out, they know Americans have more money and they charge Americans more for the same goods and services that they would charge their own people. Price gouging. So that is exactly a good example of what you're talking about. Is you're correct. People know folks have more money now, so they are charging more for the same. Because even if you work for McDonald's now, it's not uncommon to see burger flippers making 16, 17, 18 bucks an hour. That was not happening at this point during the Trump administration. People were still making $7 to $9 an hour in burger flipping jobs. Now you're almost certain to make $4 or $5 more per hour at a burger flipping job now under Biden than you were under Trump. So that does make sense. That
right now.
Go ahead.
Now you're a smart guy. You're a smart guy. What is the inflation rate that the Fed says that the U.S. should be at?
I ain't that smart. Give me the number.
Okay, so they always say that 2% is where the maximum of inflation should be. That way everything kind of equals out. They always want interest and everything around 2%.
Okay.
Last year, inflation had topped out around 9.8%, somewhere around there. You know what it is today?
What?
It is 3.3. What is the unemployment rate right now? 3.9.
It was 3.5 under Trump. The unemployment rate was 3.5 under Trump.
3.5 under Trump. Okay, it's going to fluctuate. If anybody says that the unemployment rate is not going to fluctuate, it didn't stay 3.5 the whole time under Trump.
True.
Right?
True.
It actually went way up under Trump. But then they want to say, oh, it was because of the pandemic. So that means that things that happen in the world will affect the unemployment rate. But the bottom line is right now, it is 3.7% unemployment and 3.3 inflation. So I'm saying the economy is good. People are making more money, right? What's happening right now is greed. Rent is high is because people know they can charge people more.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that, but
because in order to push down inflation is you have to raise interest rates in order to bring down inflation. If people understand economics, they can get off of their bullshit.
Well, here's the problem, and you are correct. And when you state if people understood economics, they could get off the bullshit. However, the problem is if Biden would go out and tell people the economic advantages of his administration, people wouldn't be on the bullshit. Because in reality, even the liberals, hang on a second, even the liberals do not favor the Biden economy. Go ahead.
Tim, listen. Here's the thing, and people will probably get upset, but then I'm going to push right back on Trump on this, right? There is a lot of low information people in this country.
Okay.
They don't want to know truth. If you get up there and you start talking what I'm talking right now, interest rates and this, that, and the other, they are not tuning in. This is what they understand, and this is how Trump convinced people that he had a great economy. The economy is booming. We're doing great things, right? They like slogans. If you get out there and just say, hey, everything is great, and you just keep saying it year after year after year, eventually you're going to get the low information people to believe it. That's why people always say, I have more money under Trump. No, you didn't. How you have more money if wages are higher
but to me,
cost of goods is lower?
Yeah, but to me, you're playing word games. I'm going to side with the way Trump
It's
was.
not word games.
Hold on, let me make it clear. I'm going to, based on what you just stated, I'm going to side with the way Trump was doing it over Biden every time. I think you do need to get out there as a politician and pat yourself on the back and brag about what you're doing. Leaving it up to the actual people to figure it out on their own, or as you say, no economics, puts you at a disadvantage. Trump right now with fuel prices, they don't came down under Biden. Trump would be out there saying the price of fuel is the lowest it's been in U.S. history. So you're right. There's a lot of low information voters. And if you keep saying positive shit, it sinks in with them. Biden ain't out there giving people positive stuff, so other people are filling in the blanks for him, and they're saying negative things to the point where even his own supporters, even Biden's own supporters, do not favor him very well because he ain't talking to the people.
Right. So hear me out, right? The people that are against Biden, that are Democrat, they're not against him majority because of the economy. They want to talk about. See, let me put it this way.
I don't agree with that.
Kind of close with this, right? Let me kind of close with this. Democrats, we expect damn near perfection from our politicians. If they differ from us on what we consider important, we will damn near abandon them. Republicans don't do that. They can see the worst shit inside their politician, but they like one thing about them, they will still vote for him. Most Republicans know Trump is a piece of shit, but the racists see something. No, seriously, the racists see something in him that they like. The evangelical pro-lifers see something in him that they like. So they have a coalition of people that like one thing about Trump and hate everything else about him, and so they rally around him to get that one fucking thing. Democrats don't do that. Our politicians can give us that one great thing that we want, but they're shit on everything else. We ain't gonna vote them in because they're shit on everything else. That's the difference between Democrats and Republicans. You know what I'm saying? They talk about family values and nuclear family and all this shit on the right, and Trump got about 3 baby mamas. He cheated on all his wives. He done raped a woman. He done been sued. You see what I'm saying? He's such a fucking piece of shit on everything that Republicans say that they stand for, but they all find something in him that they can benefit from. And so he is a useful fucking idiot for Republicans, and they will continue to vote for that piece of shit. Democrats need to pull their heads out their ass and understand that if he gets back in office, that's going to be the end of democracy. Period, point blank, no matter how you feel about the economy, gas prices, eggs, and most of these motherfucking Republicans don't have cars. They don't eat that many fucking eggs to be complaining about it. It's just a farce.
All right, Army vet.
I'm gonna close with that.
All right, that's a hell of a lot to close with. Anytime. Good talk. Now,
All right, bro.
absolute wow, I wasn't expecting all that. He came hard. Okay, going to, I will say that I see all kinds of fire emojis in the comment section after he dropped that bomb. I will say this, in regards to the Biden accomplishments, or folks who do favor Biden, like my last caller, I do believe Biden's biggest problem is not going out there and tooting his own horn. I do believe he would be viewed far more favorably, at least by the Democrats, if he would toot his own horn. A lot of stuff my last caller said and many other pro-Biden supporters state, most liberals don't know. And like my last caller just eloquently stated, a hell of a lot of us are low information voters. So you can't just do what's right and expect the public, the populace, to just know that. Trump made a good effort, solid effort at constantly holding rallies, even when he didn't need to, because he didn't stop holding rallies. The moment he got elected in 2016, that whole year, he was still holding rallies, patting himself on the back, which is why folks continue to believe this guy is doing fucking great. I mean, if you're sitting in a room full of people and you're a low information voter and everybody that voted like you are cheering on this guy you voted for, that they believe he's done the right thing as a low information voter, well, hell, they all know more about it than I do. So, hey, he must be doing a great job. The amount of rallies Trump has held compared to Joe Biden could be Joe Biden's stamina. Some folks say, you know, with his cognitive abilities and things like that, he's probably held 10-1 over President Biden, maybe even 20-1. I personally attended a Trump rally a couple months ago. I say it all the time. Even though I lean left, I like politics. I went to a Trump rally, stood in line 5 hours, you name it. While I was in line for 5 hours waiting for Trump to come to town to perform his rally, you know what Trump was doing? He was in a neighboring town about 90 miles away holding another rally. Came to my town, stood in front of us for 2 hours. The next day, he was at another one. Biden doesn't do that. That's a problem. Not to say that Biden is doing a shitty job, but people don't know because he's not telling folks. That's not working in his favor. It's just not. The moment eggs went down in price, he should have been bragging about the fact that eggs are now cheaper than they were during the Trump administration or making up some shit like that. Sometimes just simply doing a good job is not enough, particularly in politics. Looking in the comments, and I see, who was that just said that? Hush and Cochran said he can't do it. That could be. Then you let your surrogates do it. I mean, Kamala Harris, put her out there, let her go out there touting how great Biden is. If Biden doesn't have that stamina, if he got to be in bed every night by 5:30, then have somebody else do it. But right now, when it comes to President Biden, nobody is tooting his horn for him. Nobody is doing that. He got a website that shows all the shit he's done, but in regards to people who are going out and telling folks, very few people are doing it for him. Looking in the comments, some of us don't need to brag, but show you some of us don't need to brag, but show you we did what we did and did it best. You do need to brag. As a politician, you do need to brag. There is a lot of capital in tooting your own horn. There really is. If Trump was not holding all of those rallies, you probably would not have folks thinking that he was the best president in U.S. history. Because a lot of folks that support Trump are saying things, some of it not true, that they got at those rallies. Period. You think that even folks on the right would be so gung-ho that the 2020 election was stolen if Trump wasn't going around holding rallies telling everybody that? No one else in the Republican Party is stating that the 2020 election is stolen. Only Trump is doing that. No other Republican senator or Republican congressperson, maybe Marjorie Taylor Greene or Matt Gaetz, maybe, but overwhelmingly the Republican Party in Washington, all of the senators in Congress, nobody's going around saying the 2020 election is stolen. But Trump is saying it every moment he gets a chance to. That's where that's coming from. That's what happens when you're going around telling people stuff. A lot of folks start believing it. Biden is not going around telling people anything. So what's happening with Biden? Other people are filling in the blanks of what they think about him, and that's what's sticking to him. Going to the box, and I see Nellie Lowry says, because it was. I've had, and I'll go to the box, but I've had numerous videos. And by the way, get your boy up to 70,000. I see some of you folks are tapping the screen. A hell of a lot more of you have lazy ass thumbs. Try to deliver good content. Show your boy some love, tap the screen. In regards to the 2020 election, come November, we're 4 years out. Right now, we're 3 years out, plus a month and some days. There's nowhere near enough evidence to back up what Trump stated. Trump didn't just state there was improprieties during the 2020 election. He stated that he won by a landslide and that Biden specifically stole the election from him. There's nowhere near enough evidence to come to that conclusion. And that's 3 years out. On January 6th, it was only 2 months out. There's no way in hell that there was enough investigations done on January 6th for those people to show up believing that. We can say this didn't look right, that didn't look right, but there's no way in hell that there is enough evidence to show definitive proof that Trump won by a landslide. Even 3 years out, there's not enough proof for that. Looking in the comments, or better, going to the box. Clayton Benefield. Appreciate you folks that are holding. Trump lost 60 court cases on the election. No reason for January 6th rally. Yeah, there's not enough evidence to that. At the very, even his own lawyers, why he thought that. He genuinely believed it. He has First Amendment free speech rights. Yeah, even his own attorneys ain't saying, well, here is the evidence. Here is the proof. No, they're defending him on the grounds that even if it ain't true, he had the First Amendment free speech right to say it. They're not even presenting evidence right now that he's going through all these court cases. They're just saying, hey, it was in his mind, he believed it, and institution-wise, he has a First Amendment free speech right to say what he thought. No evidence is being presented, though. They're not presenting proof. They're using the First Amendment to defend it. Elections are only stolen when Democrats say it. Elections are only stolen when you present proof that it was stolen. That's why he will be found guilty on RICO, says the Chakra House. Yikes. But will he do any jail time? Will he actually be incarcerated? 91 charges by the feds. Yeah, he's not going to beat all 91 charges. I'm not crazy, but will he do any time for it? If Biden stole the election, he's the best thief of all time, says Derek. Yeah, he would be. He would be. To get all of these areas to collectively back Biden, Republican governors like fucking Kemp of Georgia somehow decided I'm going to be on Biden's side. Trump's own VP, Mike Pence, somehow deciding to side with Trump or side with Biden. Yeah, it makes no sense at all. And I will say this, if all of these entities on both the Republican and Democratic side of the aisle collectively band together to steal the election from Trump, if that really happened, then he has absolutely no chance of winning in 2024. If they can all do all of this illegal shit and steal the election from him while he is currently the most powerful man in the United States, imagine what they can do to him when he's on the outside with no power at all. That would be, if you really believe that the feds, the CIA, and all these people teamed up against him and was able to successfully do all of that damage to him while he was in power, in control of all these organizations, what the hell do you think they can do to him when he's on the outside looking in? If you believe all that, then you should actually feel confident. There's no way he's going to get back in power again. If they could do this while he was in power, yeah, you'll never get back in. Just use logic on what you're saying. The feds, the CIA, the DOJ, all of these folks can steal the election from him. But now that he's on the outside looking in, all we got to do is vote for him and he'll win. While saying that all we did in 2020 is voted for him and they stole it from him. That makes no sense at all, period. You're going to do the same thing you did in 2020, if what you're saying is correct. You're going to do the same thing you did in 2020, but somehow you expect a different result in 2024? When the same FBI and CIA is still in power? And now the guy who allegedly stole the election is president, running for a second term? And you're going to beat all of that. That makes sense. That really makes sense to some of you. All right, going to the box. SETI said, good afternoon. 2016, he won by a landslide. We thrived 4 years and we voted that out. Yeah, because it's more to President Trump than the economy. Now hang on a second, SETI. In regards to saying that we had a great economy under Trump and we voted that out, you are correct. Everyone favored the economy under Trump. Even the liberals are not complaining about $2 gas and a good economy. But when you look at what the liberals are complaining about, when you listen to ask folks, what did you vote against Trump for? It's never the economy. And the things that people voted against Trump for, he's now doing that stuff on steroids. SETI, good afternoon. SETI, are you there?
Yeah, what's up, my man? What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm in the trenches today. I'm asking, is Biden the right candidate with him stating he wouldn't even possibly be in the election if it wasn't for Trump? Is he the right guy for the Democrats to stay behind?
I think so, man. I just look at results, man. I mean, you look at what he's accomplished in 3 years. And, you know, they get back and say, oh, he's too old or he's not going to rallies. He's not. The only problem is, and I agree with you, is that they are not pumping up what they're doing. They're not going out and marketing what they've done. Yes. But I think Newsom's doing a good job with it. He's always saying, hey, Trump is doing a great job. Biden's doing a great job. He's always doing that.
Yeah.
So I can't believe I said Trump, but he's always saying that. So, yeah, Kamala Harris and all of the underlings need to go out more. I agree with that.
Yeah.
But hell, man, if you can't look up and see what he's done by going to WhiteHouse.gov, then it's on you, man. I'm sorry. If you really care about this country, you're gonna know what he's doing, man. It's very simple. It's a easy. When all this going to get some pizza from a website or whatever, and you do that, you can go to WhiteHouse.gov and see what they accomplished. It's very simple.
I gotta disagree with you to a certain point. You may have a spouse that you really love, and you got a friend. If all of your people are constantly telling you negative things about your spouse, and your spouse ain't defending herself, before you know it, you start looking like, are you really cheating? Did you really do that? I mean, there's only one group in our ear, and they're all Biden detractors. We need more positive folks, particularly Biden himself. So I don't agree that you should be able to go to whitehouse.gov and look up all, he should be telling you that stuff.
He should be, but you know what? If you really care about this country, you're gonna do it on your own. You know, what do these Trumpers get in the box and say? Oh, I've done my research. Well, evidently you haven't. So they're not doing their research. You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
What I was gonna say was, Biden is the president of the United States. He's doing what Trump should have done when he was president. All Trump did was go on victory tours and campaigning tours for 4 years and go.
But think about what you just said. Trump should be doing what Biden did, and Trump only just went on victory tours. Look at how Biden supporters view him versus how Trump supporters view him. And you can see, even though you might not favor what Trump did, his folks got a hell of a lot more love for him than Biden's folks do.
Well, I love Biden, man. I'm gonna tell you right now, buddy. I'm riding with Biden, bro.
You're number two. You are.
Just you and me. I know that. I know it's handsome, but they're out there. We just don't. We got our lives to go with, man. We are not cultish.
You are. Listen, I've been doing this. I've been doing this for over a year now. You are the second person on my live to get on here and say, I love Biden. That is so rare. Wow.
You know why? You know why? Because I know what he's done, man. I mean, I look and see what a beautiful black woman who's very intelligent on the Supreme Court. That's Biden, bro. He got a vice president who's African American and white or Indian. She's on his ticket. I see all of the people of color that he's put on federal benches. Dude, those are things that have not been done that he's doing. I see the CHIPS Act. I see what he's done for the military. I see what he's done for the infrastructure. I see it.
Damn.
If you can't see it, if people can't see it, I'm sorry for you.
Wow.
That's just my point.
Listen, I feel like I'm at a sermon. Hallelujah. You know, makes you want to tithe to you, give you a few bucks. More Biden supporters need to sound like you. More Biden supporters need to sound like you.
You're right, handsome. You're right, because that's the problem. When that check was given out to the people, what did Trump do? He made sure he
put his name on it.
Hey, listen. He didn't have nothing to do with it, but he made sure his name was on that check.
Yeah. Well,
he made sure.
He's a good salesman, and as a politician, that's your job. You should sell yourself. Trump is a far better salesman than Biden.
Well, that's all he's done all his life. I mean, you know, everybody thinks he's such a great businessman. All he does is brand himself. He puts his names on buildings all around the world. He doesn't own them he doesn't own shit.
No, but
he owns some golf courses.
Right.
I mean, but he knows how to brand.
Yeah.
He knows about advertising.
Yeah.
And I have to give it to him. If you can get people to send you $150 million just because you said the election was a lie, you're a badass. You are a badass to be able to do that.
Yeah.
People give out their hard-earned money for a man that's supposed to be a billionaire. That's a beautiful thing, man.
You might be talking about our next president. You might be talking about Trump could be 45 and 47. You might be talking about our next president.
I don't think so. You know why? I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm gonna go because I know you want to bring other people up. He will not be president because the people that run this country cannot deal with someone that can't deal with the rest of the world. They're making their money. They can't make their money if you got a knucklehead being your president. They can't do it. Dude, seriously, man.
Well, I'm just going to tell you. I'm just going to tell you before I move it on. Angle Fan Gaming in the comments said they said all that before and he still won. So I get your point, but folks made it sound like Trump never had a chance to win in 2016, and you did see what happened. You can't have that guy possibly back.
He won. But here, in closing, here's the deal. Guess what? We had a peaceful transition to power, and transition to power with him. Barack Obama was very gracious. I want all these MAGAs to understand this. What did he do? He, a day before the inauguration, he runs his monkey ass down to Mar-a-Lago and did not do that. This is the presidency, man. You gotta have someone better than that. So, you know what? Get rid of Trump and get someone in there if you want a Republican. Get someone that knows how to run business and a country at the same time.
Wow.
Love you, man.
Wow. All right. Appreciate it, Seti.
Love you, brother.
Absolutely.
Good one, bud.
Feeling is mutual. All right, looking in the comments. I can't believe there's so many people that think fake Joe is doing good when they're being laughed at. Sweet thing, because the opposition is Trump. I'm just going to say that again. There's a hell of a lot of liberals that are not like my last couple callers that believe Biden is not that great, but their opposition is Trump. Folks on the left believe Trump is a threat to democracy. Trump is a threat to women's rights. Some folks believe the guy is racist or anti-Semite, you name it. So Biden can really suck pretty damn hard to these people because their opposition is Trump. That's the problem. You're not going to have a young, fertile woman knowing that she can now potentially go to jail and in some states face the death penalty for having an abortion, vote Republican because you're offering her $2 gas. It's not going to work like that. The opposition is Trump. That's why these people are making these decisions that you don't understand. It's because they're looking at like, well, damn, this is what you're giving me otherwise. So understand that, and I've said this before, that I do believe you guys have a winner, but you guys don't like her. Nikki Haley. I do believe Nikki Haley could beat Biden or at the very least be highly competitive. Fortunately for Biden and the liberals, they don't have to worry about that because the right is going behind Trump. But I do believe Nikki Haley would probably be much, much more competitive against Joe Biden than Trump is. Trump is well-loved, well-respected by his supporters, but that's not growing. And it's certainly not going to grow now that the economy is getting better. The economy is not great. And I see a lot of my beloved MAGA always pointing that out. Nevertheless, you're being disingenuous if you try to make the price of fuel, the inflation or whatever the hell, price of groceries, you name it. If you try to make what we're paying for stuff right now in December of 2023 sound like it was in December of 2022 or December of 2021, you're being disingenuous. People know what they're spending at the grocery store, and they know the prices of stuff is coming down. We know the price of fuel is dropping. It's not where it was under Trump. We're not going to say that, but it's not Armageddon. It's not Armageddon. It's not the end of the world. People can see that. So even though I do believe Biden should be out there talking to folks, they do see some things coming and getting back under control. And meanwhile, President Trump just told Sean Hannity when he asked him, are you going to be a dictator? Well, I'm only going to do it for one day. People see that. People do see that. So that's why Democrats are making these decisions, and you wonder, why the hell would they vote for him? It's because the opposition is Trump. If you had a more moderate candidate, I think they might actually hear you louder. Looking on YouTube real quick, be careful what you wish for, because the same politics you believe in might be the same system that swallows you up. Make sure your eyes are open. Well, OG on YouTube, OG Stoner, what politics do we believe in? Because I know some folks believe Trump is being railroaded, whether it's by the Department of Justice or the FBI or whatever. But the problem is Trump is not claiming anything that folks before him has not claimed too. I've stated many times on this program, how many black people have said the FBI can't be trusted? That's not something new that Trump is claiming. How many folks are actually in jail where the system went after them and actually convicted them and incarcerated them on trumped up charges? Trump ain't claiming nothing that nobody else has went through. We just didn't give a damn when they were saying it. And we do now under President Trump. That stuff ain't new. The feds been doing corrupt shit, starting wars, putting drugs in neighborhoods and locking people up. All of a sudden, Trump gets raided, and now we need to open our eyes? No, your eyes have been closed. They've been doing this stuff. Hell, Martin Luther King is still on the damn terror watch list or something like that. They haven't even unsealed his files to let you know what they were doing to him. This ain't nothing new what that guy's going through. I've done video after video stating that Trump sounds a hell of a lot like Black Lives Matter. Most of the claims he's making, it's the same shit Black Lives Matter has been claiming. We just didn't give a damn when Black Lives Matter was saying it. Anyhow, folks, you know what this is. I do appreciate you folks that have tapped the screen, got your guy up to real close to 90,000. There you go. I do appreciate that. It is indeed a lunch break live. What do I say on every program? It is, always will remain MAGA friendly. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome. If you enjoy that civilized dialogue, both sides of the aisle, with no fear or interference from the host, simply because you disagree with me, that doesn't matter at all here. It's always about free speech. Follow the program. You know what we say. It helps out the algorithm, brings in more MAGA. Real quick in the comments, everybody wakes up at different times. You guys will too. I think that President Trump has been awesome for politics, whether you love him or you hate him, because he has brought a lot more people to the political sphere. You could turn on TikTok at 3 in the morning and people were telling you why they love and hate Trump. Young people, young folks. Trump has brought so many people into the political sphere. He's awesome for politics. So when you say people are going to wake up, they woke up in 2016. Because of President Trump. Even folks that love him, or we like him because he exposed so much. Well, he also woke up people to point out things that he said that is negative as well. So Trump has been great for political attendance. He has been really good for that. George Santos is about to tell on Republicans. It ain't gonna matter. They're gonna say George Santos, Rhino, bought out by the liberals. He's only doing it because he's trying to write a book or something like that. And you know a book is coming from George Santos. May write 2 of them. Not that anything inside of it is going to be sourced correctly. We know George Santos can't be trusted, but yeah. Christopher B. Jones says, do you believe Trump is innocent? No. I believe what's happening to Trump is political, but I don't believe he's innocent. I've stated before, I could get pulled over for speeding and all of a sudden start talking shit to the cops. Now I got a ticket for low tread on my tires, tinted windows, license plate light that's too dim. They're actual violations, but I would not have gotten them if I wasn't talking shit. So the violations they gave me based on me talking shit, they are political. They after me because they don't like me, but they're real, genuine violations. And I do believe that's what Trump is faced with, is he's pissed off so many people that they went through all of his business, all of his past with a fine-tooth comb, plus he continues doing shit. And well, since you're going to be an asshole, here goes. So it's political, but it's also likely based on valid violations. That's how I feel about it. Even if Trump was loved by the Dems, he would still be considered guilty. Yeah, but he probably wouldn't be charged with a host of that shit. And the whole obstruction with the documents case, that is something he brought on himself. Just hand over the fucking documents. You got your own lawyer telling you, if you don't cooperate, this is illegal. His own lawyer has testified that she told him, if you don't get his stuff over, it's a crime. And he continued pushing on. You can't blame a witch hunt for that. You can't blame the Democrats for that when his own lawyer has said she told him. You got to hand this stuff over. You don't just get to make your own laws. Well, fuck them. I don't have to do it. Well, now they're at your door and they didn't use a key. That's his fault. But in his mind, he thought those were his documents. That's fine. Listen, in my mind, I don't need a fucking driver's license. How is that going to work on the side of the road? In my mind, officer, I don't think I need a driver's license. In my mind, I thought it was okay to bring this gin on the road and take a couple sips. How does that work? You can't get to make your own laws because it's in your mind. I mean, talk about expecting some kind of privilege. That's an insane amount of privilege. Where you telling the cops, in my mind, this ain't against the law. Yeah, good luck with that. Trump is 100% better than Biden. Depends on what your political aspirations are. He might be 100% better than Biden. If you're pro-life, pro-2A, pro-Christianity in schools, anti-LGBT, it's a host of reasons why you should vote for Trump. But if your aspirations, if you love the LGBT community, maybe you do believe in police reform, tuition forgiveness, universal health care, then Trump is terrible. Depends on what you want, the direction you want the country to go in. Left my ass off. They at your door and they don't have a key. Yeah, they walked right in Trump's house. I mean, they called the Secret Service, but it wasn't a request. We're coming in. We're coming in, period. Those documents we asked for, we're showing up to get them back. We don't give a damn what you think. We're showing up to get them back. Biden agreed to testify in front of live reporters, and Republicans said no. I haven't heard that. Black, aren't you sorry to be a Republican? User, I'm not a Republican, so no need to be sorry about it. Privileged people believe they are the law. And you put Trump in parentheses. Possible, or they don't have to follow the law. There are people who believe that. Trump, and I see in the comments, I don't, in my mind, she said yes. Oh my God, don't do that. I gotta go. Appreciate you folks tuning in. It's your boy Tim, the Handsome Liberal. I will see you tomorrow. Follow the damn program. YouTube. Do appreciate you folks tuning in. Listen, I got to figure out some kind of way to get the YouTube side of things a bit stronger, but we'll work on it. Until then, I'll see you tomorrow.